Hello guys, and welcome back to Strategic Command World War II World at War with our Axis PvP against SirTravis playing the Allies. Let's boot up this replay and see what happens. We started an early, very early, winter invasion of the Low Countries, taking out Luxembourg and the Netherlands. Belgium was an inch away, and we have some news to discuss as well, but let's first see what Travis managed to do this turn. I heard it was snowing for him, so he couldn't have been very efficient if he maintained his aggressive play. Lots of moving. He's starting to replace armies along that border. I don't know why I'm seeing things pop in and out like that. That's really weird. Don't know what that's about. A lot of reinforcement along the front with China. He's attacking. He's losing where he's attacking. He's just covering the front in units. Slight movements. Belgian HQ moving away. You trying to save the Belgian HQ? That's just going to make it easier to take this over. He didn't even move anything up, actually. Okay, I thought he might have decided to move something up, because if he did, well, there you go. Ireland moved 4% to the eye. So he's still going for Ireland. This is the only one I see him pushing. So he might be going all in on Ireland. And so we can talk about that. Canada, UK, we disrupted 12 MPPs. Lithuania remains within our sphere of influence. Country would give us a good launching pad for future invasion of the USSR, should we seize it before Stalin is ready to counter us. Annexing Lithuania would undoubtedly cause some alarm in the Soviet Union, but it shouldn't lead directly to conflict unless we were to follow it up with acts of aggression against Latvia or Estonia. Would you like to authorize the annexation of Lithuania? By saying yes to this, Germany will annex Lithuania on March 1940, that's next turn. And USSR will swing 20-25% towards the Allies. If you say no, USSR will have an opportunity to annex Lithuania in June 1940. I don't want to mobilize the Soviet Union that much right now, so no. We're not doing that. Garibaldi's available. An Italian Corps available. Garibaldi. Why? Gazzoni, Garibaldi, Graziani. Look at all these names, man. Look at all these names. I can go anywhere I want over there. Italy's now up to 77% mobilization from like 68 that they've been stuck at the entire time. So let's take a look at what's happened here. So we know this was here. And that's what did the raiding, I guess. He's otherwise vacated this. Let me tell you what happened. Me and Travis came to an agreement after all this fighting that has been going on here. The agreement that we came to is that he will not raid the Norway-Germany line, and in return, I will not take over Norway. And then I added into that, this was his deal. He offered it to me a few turns ago, and I just decided to accept it right now, and I'll explain why. I also threw into that deal that we'll do the same thing with Sweden. So Sweden, I will not take it over. It will be neutral, and he will not raid this line right here. So my convoys are now safe. Let's talk about why I agreed to this deal. Norway is a country that is already giving me all the MPPs that they produce via this line. It's a very important line. This line operates in the winter. This one does not. If I was to take it over, I could amend the line so that Norway essentially produces less MPPs, but more of them anyway, get sent through the Sweden line. Sweden's MPPs get bolstered to me. So nothing here would come through in the winter, and even less would come in from like right here, just in general from Norway. So it'd be really expensive to get them to join me. It'd be really expensive to last out his raiding to get them to join me one way or another. It would be expensive. I'd be paying one way or another. Taking it over is as simple as accepting an event that would cost 200 MPPs to attack it, essentially, and it would automatically take it over, put a core here and a bunch of garrisons in strategic locations. That's a great price for owning a country and for getting all those units. However, that means that core and those garrisons must stay here to some extent to protect it. Now, it could serve as a unsinkable aircraft carrier, sure, but I already know that I would need to put a lot of money to actually get that kind of use out of it, and Germany only gets one maritime bomber anyway, so I'm never going to do that, even though I may have threatened him saying that I might. So, this deal really benefits me because it means Norway will keep producing at full capacity, nothing will be lost to moving things over to Sweden, and This is everything. Like, this is the max Norway will ever produce, and I will get the max MPP benefit out of it. In the long run, this really, really benefits me. And just the guarantee that I don't take it over and have the ability to use it as an aircraft carrier, whether it be for here or up here, that was enough for him to offer me that deal. And I just threw this one in too, because I figured it would be to his benefit. I never planned to get Sweden to join me. So giving that extra padding helps him keep the deal. Norway, I was really unsure about, but I'd rather min-max the amount I get. And whether I get Norway to join me, I take it over, or it stays neutral, this line is all their MPPs. They will continue to push all of their MPPs to me, no matter what. So I figured I'd take it because it just seems like a win-win-win to me. If I don't have, I don't, the MPPs to get both Norway and Sweden to join me, at least I can protect all the MPPs they're sending me, because that's effectively already having them without actually having to protect them. To me, the deal seems like a win-win-win, so I took it. Also, coming into this episode, I made a deal with Travis as well while looking at that Lithuania thing. So basically, I pass on this because he doesn't really know how terrible it would be for me to actually look at this. USSR, 25% mobilization. I would accidentally like double their mobilization if I took this. So naturally, I wouldn't have done it anyway. So I offered him a deal. I don't take this, and I just frame it as a good thing, right? And you don't take all this through your event, because it would be free for him. I think mine actually costs money. And so here you go. He agreed to that. So the Baltics will not be in the war, and Lithuania, you know, which I was not going to take anyway, it's fine. The other Baltics, fine. Only the events. We made the deal is like, we can still invade it manually, but we will both forego our events. So we have another diplomatic deal where we just forego this by event. Manual invasion is always open. Also, the Norway-Sweden thing, this is in effect until 1943, based on what we agreed to, and then we're going to revisit it and talk about it more and see if we want to still just like keep it going. Additionally, I have offered him another deal. I offered him a deal of this right here. I told him that if he doesn't make the coup happen in Yugoslavia, so I just get Yugoslavia for free, I will not invade Greece, meaning Yugoslavia joins me. I'd get it anyway. This time it would just join me, you know, instead of me having to invade it, or even me having to use Diplo to get it. In return, I will not invade Greece, which means Italy will not get 500 MPPs and 2, you know, cores spawning, and I will not like invade and take over Greece, etc., etc. He hasn't gotten back to me on that one. He described it as being a mutual benefit, but he also wants to tie down German forces, and he thinks that this might be a good way to do it. So I'm curious to see what he says in response to this deal in the end. I'm hoping he says yes, because I don't need Greece. It doesn't produce that many MPPs at all. Like what, 10 MPPs? That's nothing. Yugoslavia produces almost 20, and it can get a lot of units, and it has a lot of really annoying partisans. So if they just join me for free, that would be great. That means I could use their units, again, if I want to say bolster these three to have a more extensive southern front. And now, look how much I've narrowed the fucking front, man. By getting rid of the Baltics, this is the problem I had, I remember in the PvE, was I couldn't really push up and east at the same time. With a simple deal, I've made it that it's fine, you know? He can't invade the Baltics before getting into the war. So I get to start the war literally with a front from right here to down here. So theoretically, all 4, maybe all 3 of these countries would be right here, pushing this way like before. And the German units would be stacked up right here only, meaning we could spread this out even more and have Germany take even more responsibility, because I'm going to have extra time to build up with the way that I'm doing it this time. This means I get to hit him full strength, leading this way, you know, this way, and this way, and this way. And I don't have to worry about any of this, and he doesn't get to use these ports. He doesn't get the MPPs out of them. It's really, really, really it's actually not a lot of MPPs here to begin with. But still, with the ports and everything, and even just all the land and the units that would go there, it's really beneficial to me. It is hugely beneficial to me. And I think this decision may, just like this one alone, may greatly impact this war. And if he gives me Yugoslavia as well, I think that will have another massive impact on the war with the USSR. My plan was never to make Germany very strong, but we're getting a lot of good diplomatic deals, and we might get a third really good one here that will make invading the USSR without even preparing for it with as many MPPs, like going in for Yugoslavia, going in for Turkey, and then annexing all this stuff. I'm still going to annex Denmark. That was not part of the plan. No deals there. I'm taking this over no matter what. And then if Finland goes well as well, if they join us, then I can also use them as another front, and I can afford to do it that time, you know? And I will. And that would be so interesting to see how well USSR would go with the Baltics out of the equation. And I'm really happy that I've kind of secured that. Now, he asked me if I failed in Belgium intentionally. I said, sort of. Because I wasn't even going to invade. And if I waited until I was ready to invade, it would have been better off because I would have had access to my bombers. I wasn't in position yet. So, I still took all these other things. And he did not really reinforce Belgium. He chose to maintain his defensive lines. And that's smart, I suppose. But that means Belgium is guaranteed to fall right now. So let's see what we can do on this front. So, the 8th Army can only get this far anyway, down to Antwerp. That's as far as it can get. So we'll send it down to Antwerp, and we'll attack Brussels. There you go. Brussels is going to be secure. We can see that there's Belgian fighters in the rear, and then otherwise it's just this as a front. The Belgians aren't that big of a deal, but they are in my way, unfortunately. The 3rd Army can only get this many as well, and we've upgraded it with its mobility. So let's send it all the way down to Brussels as far as it can get as close up to the front line as is possible, and there you go. That's pretty good. The 4th Army could get... No, it cannot get any farther than this. This is the max that the 4th Army can go. So let's go ahead and send it down here and take a look at what's happening. So the 1st Corps, and I assume the 2nd, BEF Corps are entrenched. The army is on Dunkirk. He put the army on Dunkirk. Oh my god. I find that so funny. We have 3 bombers, and the 2 healthy fighters have 4 potential escorts. Yes. So, because we both have this aerial tech now. Aerial warfare research. So, let's reinforce these fighters right here. Get them back up to strength. There's very little bombing I can even do. At all. This bomber is not in any place to bomb anything that I plan to try to get through. Although, the 9th Army here would be a fairly nice place to cut through, potentially. The BEF is definitely going to be the weakest link, though. Thankfully, the snow is gone, so even if I invaded this turn, you know, would have been a decent time to invade. The rain's here, unfortunately, but February, no snow, and we didn't have any snow in the first part of our invasion. Now, he is fairly fucking entrenched here, which is going to be a huge problem to actually break through. Chewing through this, he's put everything here. I don't think he has anything around Paris at this rate. He's stacked up. Chewing through as much of this as possible is going to be the ideal thing. Let's take our medium bombers and bomb the enemy 1st Corps. British interceptors. He took 6 damage, by the way, last turn. I counted it. 6 damage, and we only took 1 while doing strafing runs, by the way. So that was fucking hysterical. We dealt no damage to the actual core, but we lowered its readiness and morale quite a bit. His fighter took 2 damage, and our bomber took 1 damage. Already, the attack is looking better, but it's not perfect, and so Lille is definitely where we're going to want to aim our breakthrough, because theoretically this HQ will disappear. Either way, a Belgian HQ is going to be fucking useless to him, because it's a Belgian HQ. It can only command Belgians. So let's go ahead and try some bombings. We got the medium bombers here. They're going to go after the enemy 1st Corps. Interceptors fly. Escorts fly. We deal 2 damage to his fighter. We take no damage to either of our aircraft. We deal 1 damage to the enemies at Lille, and my game is glitching the fuck out for some reason. By the way, we dealt 6 damage to him last time, his fighters, and we only took the 1 damage, so that was really impressive. I forget if I already said that, but yeah. I think I said 5 when I observed it. That was really cool. We got really lucky while just strafing a target. I was really happy about that. We will take the tactical bomber and continue our bombing of the 1st Corps. His interceptors fly again. Our escorts fly again. And no damage to any planes. No damage to the enemy unit either. That's a fair result, I guess. We just lower his readiness and morale some more. Let's go ahead and attack him with the 4th Army then. Dealing 1 damage. Taking 1 damage, unfortunately, but it is what it is. We'll move the 4th Panzer tanks forward, and then we'll go on the attack here against the 1st Corps. Dealing 2 damage, taking no damage. Dealing 4 damage, taking no damage. We're still stuck here, mind you, but we still have some recovery and stuff to do, so that's fine. This is going to open up, because Belgians are going to surrender, and this is going to disappear unless he moves it. No, it's going to surrender in my turn. So this is going to just open up by itself. That's why I didn't bother attacking. This is a good chance for any semi-injured units I have to recover, so they can push forward onto the front next turn. So we're talking about these Panzer tanks recovering. We're talking about this army right here recovering as well. We have, oh, yep, another one, 14th Army. Perfect recovery time. He might think he's slowing us down, which is at least good. His morale is usually not fully related to the situation, only his perspective of the situation, which usually is good for me so far. First Army will move forward up against here, and this is not going to hold. So he's going to have to shift it out and then reinforce it, or, you know, that's going to break some. He actually, no, he has no entrenchment, so he would have no entrenchment next turn. The entrenchment is fully broken at Lille, so breaking through here is just a given, and everything around here is in a lot of danger for me during this upcoming turn. My other tactical bombers are going to move forward, let's say right around here. We don't want to put it right here because then he'll see it, and I've learned you could do a lot of damage by bombing planes, and I don't want him to figure that out. The other tactical bombers are still in a decent spot. This one, this medium bomber, is not in as good of a spot. We're going to need to move something up, and I'm probably going to move von Bock up, because an HQ does need to move forward. Supply is otherwise fine around here anyway. So we'll move von Bock forward, and this will actually boost supply along the front for us, so that's good. Move the medium bombers forward onto Essen, give them a little bit more range, while also allowing them to continue attacking. We will set these paratroopers into prepare to get them ready to jump, because they have the range to jump. They're pretty well on that front. Surprisingly, he's not being aggressive at all over here, but maybe that's because he's spending all of his points reinforcing and stuff like that, because he kind of needs to now. We'll send this corps up to Bastogne. We'll send this corps down to Cologne. We'll swap this corps in here to allow some upgrades as well. All upgrades here are handled, which frees up the 30th Corps. We now have the warning, by the way, keep at least 2 units within 6 hexes of Warsaw, which we are doing, but just with this alone. Let's see if we can get the Coast Guard sub moving back. Yep, okay, all the way back. Perfect. Perfect. All right, sweet. We can move the Admiral's Shear out of here just fine and go dock the Admiral Graf down there so it can get its reinforcements finally, right? Move the Z-20 destroyer off, put the Coast Guard sub right here, and they get all these other subs put back into port so they can get some reinforcements so that they can then head back out, because we're going to enter the convoy raiding era, and I'm just so happy. I'm so happy about the diplomatic deals that we've gotten and whatnot. I feel really, really good about how this is going. This is the first turn that we have a chance to research anything really as Germany very easily. So I'm going to go for those infantry weapons. Even though Germany focuses tanks, they have a ton of infantry. And they're going to have even more infantry with the minor powers underneath them. So we need that at max as soon as possible, because that's going to give us an advantage over the Soviet Union. It's very important, especially if we get lucky and he doesn't understand the importance of this. But given that he's pretty much watching through my playthroughs right now, he might figure it out. 144 MPPs remaining, and we're going to spend this on some other things. We have this corps that is still needing some upgrades, so we'll give it the basic upgrades for right now. No mobility focus for corps, certainly not at the moment anyway. 121 MPPs remaining. We still will need some more garrisons. Again, we have 1, we're making 1, and we'll need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the short term. So we want to keep those kind of trickling out. Actually, more than that, we can kind of think in advance right now, because I remember, you know, the wall you can form here could use anti-air as a cheap way to take care of it that doesn't involve putting a fighter here, and you know, that's like 100 MPPs compared to a fighter, which is 250, which could be really, really useful with some plans that I have, because I'm kind of gonna try to go for some aerial dominance over him as best I can. So anti-air for France, while I focus on taking down the USSR with these amazing Diplo deals I've gotten, would be ideal. So getting anti-air with anti-air defense on it. Mobility definitely not needed. Purchasing that instead. Let's do that. is essentially one more garrison, because it can take care of Brest, because I think the thing goes right next to Brest, right here. And I had a garrison and that there, and I don't think I even fucking questioned it. I think it was just like, okay with that. So it can serve as like a temporary garrison and a defense for the Atlantic Wall, all in one, while also protecting any ship that might be placed over here. Not quite as effective, but again, it'll work. And honestly, like, the same approach can be taken for a lot of this stuff, because if he's anything like the AI knows the value of these positions, and bombarding things like the Hague, I don't know, the Amsterdam, Brussels, you know, they do it. And so this could actually be like an expensive replacement to some garrisons that would also defend key points from air from the UK. That would stop me from needing to put fighters for here for anything. So I like that plan. It sounds like a plan. Sounds like a good plan. We have 16 MPPs remaining as Germany. We can move this with like a force march or something. I mean, might as well. It's not doing anything anytime soon. Force march is paratrooper down further into place. Again, it can't fly that far anyway. And especially with all the air he has here, all the fighters that he's committing, that he's willing to lose points from, that kind of shuts down a lot of paratrooping plans, at least without expected casualties. We'll also take the U-30 here. We'll go up a little bit, come down this way, and stop right there, getting close to like Greenland and Iceland, getting ready to run for our lives to recuperate. I believe it's next turn we'll get the chance, next turn or the turn after that, we'll get the chance to annex Denmark, and then that will give us access to both of these temporarily, at least for a little bit. I've been forgetting to put this garrison here, so let's go put that there so that it is as ready as it possibly can be. We have new units to deploy, a core, an HQ, you name it, we have it. We won't need this core here with the HQ. I think the HQ can reach, you know, that far, maybe not. We'll find out. I'll put the first core just right here. The Garibaldi, I'll probably put on Rome. So I'll take this core, and we'll probably move it up just to, you know, have some kind of participation. He may, I don't know if he actually will, but he may leave some of this stuff with nothing in it, potentially. I don't really know. One way to find out, right? Take this core, force march it over here. We can't see far enough right now, but it's okay. Take this core, put it right there. And then the Gazoni could really go just sit on Turin, which is fine. I don't plan on reinforcing it fully right now anyway. So Gazoni could go sit on Turin, and then Garibaldi could go sit on Rome after being deployed initially. We're still preparing for war, so with Italy, we will reinforce the Graziani HQ at Benghazi. The 5th Army will just... I don't know what the fuck it's gonna do, really. I don't know what the fuck it's gonna do. It's a really good question. What will it do? What will it do? Probably forming a line is better than forming a line here, because it's harder for him to project power this far, and then we could still like swap in. So we'll just like, oh, we can't even force march, so we'll just go like right there. We'll go like right here, and I think that would be good enough. I still don't know if I'm going to keep this guy here or move him here and have him bounce off. If right now he needs a supply to actually reinforce up to 8. 8 is probably the best he'll reinforce up to. It's better than nothing. It leaves us with 48 MPPs. We can go ahead and reinforce these tanks up to 8. That sounds good to me. 11 MPPs remaining, and I am happy with that result. I really want to start purchasing the maritime bomber that I plan on leaving on Malta once I take it. That's just like assuming success, right? But I'm gonna assume success, quite frankly. We have garrisons out the ass ready to deploy over for Japan. So another one next to Nagasaki would be good. We're definitely gonna send this one out. So 15 to transport that unit. So we'll place another garrison right there. Both of them next to the port at Nagasaki and functional. The opportunity to pull an offensive in Japan has really, really opened up. Like, we have a lot of options all of a sudden. So we're going to take those options. We're going to take the medium bombers, and we are going to bomb Changsha Defense Force Corps, because we have these fuckers surrounded, man. These interceptors are flying. It's been a while since we've had a nice plane fight. Planes are really expensive to recuperate, so hopefully we deal damage. We didn't deal any damage to his fighters. No, we did with our bombers. We dealt 1, funny enough. And then the game's still glitching out for some reason, so I might just like restart my computer after I finish recording this episode. This game's gotten like buggier with whatever recent update they did after my initial PvE playthrough. I will do tactical bombing as well of the Changsha Defense Force Corps 2. There's 2 of them. It took 1 damage. His interceptors did not fly again, which is good. And now we have the ability to attack from all angles and deal pretty decent damage. Let's start with the North Chinese Front Army because they're like my least important one up here. We dealt 1 damage. We took no damage. Okay, and let's see. So go with the 34th Army next. We dealt 2 damage. They got some XP. We took no damage. Okay, Central Expedition Army. We dealt only 2 damage. We were supposed to deal 3. That is sad that we not deal as many as we were hoping to deal, but it is what it is. We will attack with the... Now, this is where it gets riskier, but I'm gonna take it. We dealt 3 damage, and unfortunately, we took 2 fucking damage. So I hate that. I'd rather kill this than hurt anything else, so I'm gonna run this army back, move this army back up, attack, blitz attack, and there you go. We've wiped that out, and we can now safely move forward with the 34th Army, taking another fortification, wiping out another Chinese corps, and... hopefully in a way that's moving faster than he can reinforce everything. I don't know, he has that Hanoi Kunming for right now. I'll try to get this sneaky little... oh god, we're running out of supply here because he has it surrounded. That's not good. I'll try to get this sneaky little attack in here against this injured enemy unit. Dealing 1 damage, taking none. That's good, but the situation here is not good. I think we have to meet his aggression here, so let's take the 21st Army and let's attack the enemy in the field, the enemy corps. We dealt 3 damage, we took 1 damage, that is acceptable. We will swap and then do it again. We dealt 3 damage, we took no damage. We'll be able to reinforce just fine. Now I kind of wish I had sent the corps over here because this one's getting just absolutely surrounded and that's not a good thing. But taking only 1 damage to an army and dealing 6 damage to a corps, that is pretty good. I just need to counter his offensive here a little bit. Not actually because of Pekoy, because Pekoy is getting supplied from Haikou, but because of Canton. If I lose Canton, that's really no big deal. I could just move back to Amoy and defend there. It's a better position to defend anyway, and I might end up having to do that. But I'd like to try to scare him away from here if possible. Let's send the Jinzhou garrison up to Senshin. We can land and kind of move up here already freeing up a corps. It's fine that it's not upgraded. We'll get it upgraded. For now, we'll just operate it, though, to get it down by Hangzhou. It's going to head south because it might need to buddy up by Canton or at Amoy if he ends up pushing there with his hyper-aggressive tactics. We're going to move this garrison over to Helsinki. We're going to move the Jinzhou garrison as far up as it can get, which is not very far at all, but far enough to be within 1 hex to avoid increasing Soviet mobilization. We'll take some attacks of opportunity over here against the enemy 5th Army, dealing 2 damage with our first attack, taking no damage, dealing 2 damage with our second attack, and taking no damage, chasing him away from that front, which is fucking hilarious. I'm going to actually swap these out, because if he doesn't move anything else forward again, then we can give this elite reinforcements. However, I feel like he thinks I'm trying to push through here, which is why he keeps sending things up here to get beaten up, even though they can't deal any damage, but we'll see. The Japanese have 302 MPPs remaining. We're definitely going to go ahead and do some research here. Let's say, well, production tech, that's really important for them. So we're going to go ahead and get some production tech going. 150 MPPs remaining. We'll need a lot of this in the future, so I'm going to go ahead and put 100 MPPs into amphibious warfare, because again, very, very, very important in the long run. And that gives us enough remaining to purchase another garrison, which, you know, we're going to need so many of. So let's go ahead and purchase another garrison. We're getting like 1 a turn at this rate. And so we'll have enough for all this. Then we'll have enough to start filling in these lines as we get ready to push, like they'll be ready to go pretty much immediately. With that, I believe we have finished our turn. We're out of MPPs, surely. So I don't really see what else we could do. So let's hit end turn. French morale suffers from the German blitzkrieg, and we're not even in France yet. Belgium surrenders. Hell yeah. Yep, there goes all the Belgian units. We plunder 115 MPPs. Lily's really open for the taking. He hasn't left enough stuff over here. Refugees block roads, affecting Allied supply in northern France. Ooh. Coal strike New South Wales paralyzes Australian economy. Good. Good job. Revolt more. Fall of Belgium spreads fear through the French forces. Yep. It better. French troops panic as the Maginot is outflanked. There goes their fucking morale. German morale boosted as the Maginot is outflanked. Now we have to take Paris by October. Otherwise their morale goes back up, I learned. German forces capture Eben Email. I don't know who that is. But tech. We're really not getting lucky with the DEI at this point. Some German MPPs will probably be needed to push that, but we still have plenty of time before then, because that's talking like late 41. It's early 40 right now. Still getting our MPPs, full MPPs, 20 from Norway. I'm so happy about this deal now. I almost kind of wish I made it earlier. but I didn't think about it. He offered it to me. I never really thought about it. And then the imports, very good, very nice. Yep. Things are just starting to look better and better and better. I think this early game is unfolding really, really well. However, that's our whole turn and all the time we have for this episode. So thank you guys very much for watching, and we'll take on the next turn in the next episode.